Welcome to STEM Pathway Kenya. Today we are going to discuss this integrated science grade 8 revision paper, and in this video we are going to cover key topics including scientific investigations, laboratory and apparatus, separation of substances, acid, bases and indicators, the male and female reproductive system, force and energy, magnets, magnetic materials, elements and compounds, matter and its states, and as well as the structure of the atom and the periodic table. This session is designed to help you review concepts, strengthen your understanding, and prepare effectively for your exams. Let's get started. The first question: during an integrated science lesson, learners discussed chemical symbols of the following elements. The first one is copper, second one is carbon, third one is magnesium, then the fourth one is lead. The question is, which set shows the correct chemical symbols? So in this case, let's begin with the first one. The first one, the chemical symbol is Cu, capital C, small u. Carbon, the chemical symbol is capital C. Magnesium, the chemical symbol is capital M, small g. Then lead, the chemical symbol is capital P, small b. Therefore, the correct chemical symbols is Cu for copper, C for carbon, Mg for magnesium, and Pb for lead. Therefore, the correct answer is C. Now, let's go to the next question. Substances in nature exist either as elements or compounds. Which of the following pairs consist only of compounds? So in this case, remember, a compound is a substance which is made up of two or more elements which are chemically combined. Let's look at the first one, A. We have copper, this is an element, Then we have iron, this is an element. So this one, the first one is incorrect. The second one, B, we have iron, this is an element, Then we have water is a compound. So in this case, B consists of an element and a compound, but the question is asking which one consists only of compounds. Then C, copper, this is an element, Then carbon 4 oxide, this is a compound. Therefore, this one also contains an element and a compound. Therefore, it's not purely compounds. Then D, we have water. Water is a compound. Then we have carbon 4 oxide, which is also a compound. So therefore, in this case, the set which consists of compounds only, the correct answer is D, where we have water, whose chemical formula is H2O. So in this case, we have hydrogen as the first element and oxygen as the second element, and they are chemically combined. And carbon 4 oxide is written as capital C, O, and 2 here. Therefore, in this case, we also have carbon and oxygen in that set. Then question 3. Learners classified the following elements. First one is calcium, second one is sulfur, third one is phosphorus, then the fourth one is sodium. Then the question is, which pair consists of metals only? Remember, for you to identify metals, you have first to write the electron arrangement. And if the electron arrangement of the element, the outermost energy level consists 1 to 3 electrons, this one will be a metal. But if the electrons in the outermost energy level is between 5 and 8, this one is a non-metal. Then for if the electrons in the outermost energy level are 4, this is a semiconductor. This is a semiconductor. Therefore, in this case, what we're going to do, we're going to write the electron arrangement of calcium, sulfur, phosphorus, and sodium, and we look at the elements which have between 1 and 3 electrons in the outermost energy level. Calcium is atomic number 20. It means it has 20 electrons. Therefore, the electron arrangement is 2, 8, 8, then 2. Sulfur electron is atomic number 16. Electron arrangement is 2, 8, 6. Phosphorus atomic number 15. Electron arrangement 2, 8, 5. Then sodium is atomic number 11. Electron arrangement 2, 8, 1. Therefore, if we use the rule that we have just said, elements which have electrons in the outermost energy level, this is the outermost energy level, the one that I've underlined. If you look at these electrons in the outermost energy level, if the electrons are between 1 and 3, those are metals. So from this case, the first one where we have 2, this is a metal. This is a metal. The second one we have 6, a non-metal. This is a non-metal. The third one for phosphorus we have 5. This is also a non-metal. Then the fourth one, which is sodium, it has only 1. So this one is also a metal. So in this case, it's sodium and calcium, which are metals. Therefore, in this case, the correct answer is A, where we have calcium and sodium. These are metals. The other question reads, the following changes occur in everyday life. First one is water freezing to form ice. The second one is fermentation of milk. The third one is rusting of iron nails. Then the fourth one is drying of wet clothes. Which pair consists of physical changes only? Remember, in physical changes, these are change which can be reversed. And in this case, the pair which consists of physical changes only is D, where we have the first one, which is water freezing, that is 1, and the 4, where we have drying of wet clothes. Another question, which group consists of substances that have definite volume but no definite shape? Remember, the property of a physical state that has definite volume but no definite shape, in this case we are talking of liquids or pastes. Therefore, in this case, we are going to look at a set which has only liquids or pastes. In this case, toothpaste, this is a paste. So this is a paste. Then this one, glue, this is a liquid. Then oil is also a liquid. So the first one is only consists of substances which have definite volume but no definite shape. So this is the correct answer. Let's look at B. We have clay. This is a solid. Clay is a solid. Flour is a solid. Then cement is also a solid. So this one is incorrect. Then let's go to C. Oxygen. This is a gas. Milk is a liquid. Then glue is also a liquid. So the C, oxygen, disqualifies it. Then D, we have nitrogen. This is a gas. So this one is probably not the liquid. Then salt, this is a solid. This one is also disqualifies it. And the clay, this is also a solid. So the correct answer is A. Question 6. Learners researched signs of syphilis using print media. Which one of the following is not a sign of syphilis? Remember, syphilis is an STI or a sexually transmitted disease. A. Painless sores on the genitals. That one is correct. Then we have mental disorder in severe cases. This one is also correct. That is a sign of syphilis. Itching when passing urine, this one is not a sign of syphilis. And D, we have painful rashes on the body, this is also a sign of syphilis. So therefore, in this case, the correct answer, the one which is not a sign of syphilis, is C. Question 7. Tamara and Vincent harvested potatoes and placed them in a crate. From this activity, they concluded that solids have a definite volume, not just shape. Therefore, in this case, the correct answer is B. The other question reads, during a class discussion on classes of fire, learners gave the following answers. Moses said, Class B fires include petroleum, oil-based paints, flammable gases. Christine said, Class D, wood, rubber, and plastics. Naomi said, Class K, fats, cooking oil, grease. Then Elvis said, Class C, electrical devices and damaged cords. Then the question is, who gave the wrong answer? The one who gave the wrong answer in this case is Christine. Christine gave a wrong answer because wood, rubber, and plastics, they lie under Class A fires. Another question. A cooling curve of water was shown during a lesson. So in this case, you can see a cooling curve. In which state is water in region DE? In which state is water in region DE? Let's look at this curve. It's what we call a cooling curve of water. And in this case, it's pure. It's pure water because it has sharp freezing and condensation points. So in this case, let's look at AB. In AB, this case, we have condensation. Therefore, this one is a liquid water. Then between C and D, we have what we call freezing. The liquid is now changing to a solid. Therefore, in this case, after D, it will change to solid. Therefore, in this case, the phase is in solid state. In region DE is in solid state, and the correct answer is A. Another question. Which element is incorrectly matched with its use? In this case, we have sodium used to make table salt. We have chlorine used to disinfect water. We have phosphorus, transport food in the body. Then we have hydrogen used in rocket fuel. So in this case, the one which is incorrectly matched is C, where we have phosphorus used to transport food in the body. This is incorrect. Question 11. Learners were trying to control a bush fire. Which action could not control the fire? So in this case, for you to control fire, you have to remove the components of the fire triangle. And in the fire triangle, we have the source of heat, then we have fuel, and then we have oxygen. So in this case, for you to control fire, let's see, A, cutting off oxygen. This one is a way of controlling fire. Then B, turning on the fire alarm. An alarm is not part of the fire triangle. So this one is the one which is incorrect. Cutting off source of heat, this one is correct. Then removing fuel from the fire. So if you remove source of heat, then you remove fuel, and then you remove oxygen, you have controlled the fire. And turning a fire alarm on is not a way of controlling a bush fire. Now let's go to another question. Which change during adolescence occurs in both boys and girls? In this case, the change that occur both in boys and girls during adolescence is that both boys and girls grow pubic hair during adolescence, and the correct answer is C. Let's read the other question. Question 13. Which part of the digestive system temporarily store undigested food before removal? The part of the digestive system that stores undigested food before removal is a part which we call the rectum. The correct answer is D. Now let's look at this other question. Which of the following is not a healthy lifestyle practice? In this case, the one which is not a healthy lifestyle practice is eating salty food. So in this case, the correct answer is A. Eating salty food. This is not a healthy way of or practice for kidney health. Now let's look at this other question. Question 15. A learner placed an object in a carton box and brought it close to a magnet. The box moved towards the magnet. And the question is, the object in the box was likely, in this case, if you have this one as your bar magnet, and then you have an object inside here, and when you place a magnet close to it, it moves towards the magnet, it means the substance which is inside here is a magnetic material. A magnetic material. And a magnetic material is a material that can be attracted by a magnet. Therefore, in this case, we have to look at a substance which is a magnetic material. Copper is not a magnetic material. Wood is not a magnetic material. Paper is not a magnetic material. Iron is a magnetic material. Therefore, the substance in the box is likely to be iron because iron is a magnetic material. And remember, we have said magnetic materials are materials that can be attracted by a magnet. Question 16. Which material can be used to extinguish fire? Let's look at what we have. Wood, oil cannot be used to control fire. Alcohol is a flammable substance, cannot be used to control fire. The one which can be used to control fire is sand, which when you place it in fire, it cuts the oxygen, and in this case, it can stop or control or extinguish the fire. Then question 17, the following are uses of acids and bases. The first one is manufacture of car batteries. The second one is manufacture of soft drinks. The third one is manufacture of toothpaste. Then the fourth one is manufacture of baking powder. Then the question is, which pair represent applications of acids only? The pair which represents applications of acid only is manufacture of car batteries, where we use hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid, and also manufacture of soft drinks, where we use carbonic acid. So in this case, 1 and 2, where we have B. Question 18. A tooth has the following characteristics: one root, pointed edge, sharp edge. And the question is, this tooth is mainly used for, this case, this tooth which we have described, which has one root, pointed edge, sharp edge, is a type of tooth that we call canine. A canine. And canine is used for tearing flesh. That's B. In this case, that is our correct answer. Question 19. Which organ produces urine in the human body? Which organ produces urine in the human body? In this case, the organ which produces urine is called the kidney or the kidneys. Urinary bladder, urethra, and ureters, these are the components of a urinary system, but the one that produces urine is the kidneys in the human urinary system. Question 20. The finger-like projections found in the small intestines helps to. These finger-like projections, they are called villi. They are called villi, and these villi, they are used to absorb digested food. So in this case, the correct answer is that they are used to absorb digested food. That is A. The correct answer is A. Now let's move to section B, where we have structured questions. Question 21 reads, a grade 8 learner was stung by a bee. A bee sting contains an acid. The learner applied wood ash and the pain disappeared. Question A, explain why wood ash relieved the pain. Now in this case, for you to explain why wood ash, which is basic, relieves the pain of this acid, which is the bee sting, in this case you say wood ash is basic, therefore it neutralizes the acid from the bee sting, and this reduces the pain. So for you to explain this, you just tell us wood ash is a base and therefore it neutralizes the acid from the bee sting. Remember, we have this equation: a base, when it reacts with an acid, it forms a substance which is neutral, which we call a salt, and water. Salt and water are neutral substances. Therefore, in this case, since you have an acid from the bee sting, you apply wood ash, that is an acid and a base reacting, they form a neutral substance which does not have any pain. Then question B, learners used a universal indicator to determine the strength of an acid in soil. Name another item required to determine the strength of the acid. So if you use the universal indicator, in this case, they might need what we call a pH. That's another thing that they might need, a pH paper. Then they can also use what we call a litmus paper. Question 22. The diagram below shows the male reproductive system. Question A. Name the parts labeled A and B. The part labeled A is here, and then we have B here, then we have C down here. A is what we call a sperm duct. Then B is what we call this penis. It's a penis from the male reproductive system. Then question B, state two functions of the part labeled C. The part labeled C is this is what we call testes. And the function of the testes, the first one is manufacture sperms. They manufacture sperms. Then the other one is your assignment. Go and find out another function of testes. Question 23. Learners were warned not to sleep in a closed room with a burning jiko. Explain. In this case, remember, a burning jiko uses carbon as fuel. And in this case, for carbon to burn completely, it needs oxygen for it to burn so that it forms carbon dioxide, which is safe. But in this case, when you have a closed room, oxygen is less. And if you have less oxygen, it means carbon cannot burn completely. And if carbon cannot burn completely, therefore it means it will form carbon dioxide, which is CO. And carbon dioxide can now react with hemoglobin to form what we call carboxyhemoglobin, which is very harmful in your body. So in this case, for you to explain this one, you can say a burning jiko in a closed room where there is less oxygen produces carbon dioxide gas, which is poisonous. Then from this case, you can say carbon dioxide combines with hemoglobin, reducing oxygen supply in the body tissues, which can cause suffocation or death. So when you sleep in a room which has a burning jiko and it's closed, in this case you are risking suffocation or death, because a burning jiko in a closed room there's less oxygen. Therefore, in this case, carbon will burn incompletely to form what we call carbon dioxide. Then question 24. During a class discussion, learners identified natural causes of fire. State 3 natural causes of fire. Now in this case, natural causes, these are causes which are not caused by human beings. Like in this case, we can have what we call lightning. Lightning is one of the natural causes of fire. lightning strikes. The second one that we might have is a spontaneous combustion. And in this case, spontaneous combustion can be of either dry leaves or hay. It can just burn naturally when it's too hot. And then sometimes we can have what we call volcanic eruptions. Volcanic eruptions. Then question 25. List 3 examples of temporary physical changes. Temporary physical changes, these are changes which can be reversed. Now in this case also in temporary physical change, heat energy cannot be absorbed or released, and then the process is reversible. And some of the examples of temporary physical changes, in this case we have like melting ice to form water. This is a good example. Another one, boiling water. In this case, if you boil water, you form steam. Another one is dissolving sugar in water. Dissolving sugar in water. Dissolving sugar in water. These are examples of a temporary physical change. You can also add like burning a candle wax for it to melt from solid to liquid and then back to solid. Then question 26. Name 3 firefighting equipments used to control fire. Name 3 firefighting equipments used to control fire. Example is a fire extinguisher. That's the first example. We have fire extinguisher. That's one of the example of an equipment used to control fire. 2, fire blanket. Fire blanket is also another equipment. The third one and the most common one is the sand or a bucket of water. Question 27. Learners dropped potassium manganate 7 into water in a test tube. Then the first question is, what observation was made after some time? In this case, if you have, like in this case, we have a dropper, we have water, and then we have potassium permanganate 7. Remember, potassium permanganate 7, these are crystals. When you drop them in water, the observation that you will see is that a purple color will spread and slowly become uniform. In this case, you can say purple color spread and slowly become uniform in the test tube. When you drop potassium permanganate, which is a crystal solid state, inside water, the color will become purple, and then after some time you will see the purple color throughout the test tube. So that's what you will see. That's what we call observation. Observation is what you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell. B, explain this observation. For you to explain this observation, you have to tell us what happens. So in this case, you will say potassium manganate 7 dissolves in water and moved from where it was highly concentrated to where it was lowly concentrated. In short, potassium manganate 7 dissolved and diffused. You can simply say and diffused because the movement of particles from where they are highly concentrated to where they are lowly concentrated is what we call diffusion. So in this case, the reason why you saw the purple color spread and slowly become uniform is because potassium manganate 7, which was a solid, dissolved in water. That's the first thing. And after dissolving, it moved from where it was highly concentrated to where it was lowly concentrated, and that's what we call diffusion. Then question C, what property of matter was being investigated? The property of matter which is being investigated in this case, where a substance is moving from where it is highly concentrated to where it's really concentrated, is what we call diffusion. So in this case, the property of matter that we are investigating is called diffusion, where particles move from a region where they are highly concentrated to a region where they are lowly concentrated. Question 28. Learners heated copper 2 nitrate. Learners heated copper 2 nitrate during a practical lesson. State the observation. When you heat copper 2 nitrate, in this case, copper 2 nitrate will decompose to form copper 2 oxide. It will also form what we call oxygen gas and a brown fume of nitrogen 4 oxide. A brown fume will be observed. Then another observation is that a black solid, or what we call residue, black residue is formed. Then now, in this case, the brown fumes which are formed is what we call nitrogen 4 oxide, which is written as a formula like that. This one is brown in color. Brown, that is nitrogen 4 oxide. Then black solid is what we call copper 2 oxide, which is written as a formula as that. Copper 2 oxide is black in color. So the second question, identify the type of change demonstrated. Remember, when you heat copper 2 nitrate, three substances are formed. Copper 2 oxide, which is black, nitrogen 4 oxide, which is brown, and then there's also a colorless gas. In fact, you can write another observation as a colorless gas escapes. A colorless gas escapes. This colorless gas is oxygen gas. So when you heat copper 2 nitrate, oxygen gas is produced, it escapes to the environment. Nitrogen 4 oxide gas is produced, which is brown, it escapes to the environment. You only remain with black residue, which is copper 2 oxide. Therefore, in this case, for you to identify the type of change demonstrated in this case, here new substances are formed. Initially, you had copper 2 nitrate, but now you have nitrogen 4 oxide, which is a new substance. You have copper 2 oxide, which is a new substance. Then you have oxygen, which is also a new substance. Therefore, in this case, the change that we have here is a change which is irreversible, and the new substances are formed. And in this process, you can see heat energy is absorbed. So in this case, the change that we have here is a chemical change, permanent chemical change. Then question C, state two characteristics of this type of change. This type of change, one of the characteristics is that new substance is formed. A new substance is formed. The one that you can see as nitrogen 4 oxide, copper 2 oxide, oxygen, and initially we had only copper 2 nitrate. Then another one, the change is not or is irreversible. The change is irreversible. Then another one, heat energy is absorbed. Then question 29, learners researched gonorrhea using print and non-print media. State three symptoms and prevention methods they found. In this case, the symptoms and prevention methods they found on gonorrhea is that the first one is painful urination. Painful urination. That is one of the symptoms. The second symptom is discharge from genitals. Then now, prevention measures that you can use in this or to prevent gonorrhea. The first one, let's talk about prevention measures. Prevention measures that they found. One is use of condoms. Then also we also have what we call avoid multiple sexual partners. Avoid multiple sexual partners. Then question 30, which is also the last question. Explain how the pH of soil in a school garden can be determined. Explain how the soil pH of a school garden can be determined. So in this case, what you do, you have to follow some few steps. In this case, we have to list 3. Collect soil samples from the garden. The first thing that you do is to collect soil sample from the garden. That is the first step. Mix the soil with distilled water. Then 3, use pH paper or universal indicator solution to determine the soil acidity or alkalinity. So in this case, you have to perform these 3 steps. Of course, you have to use different apparatus like a beaker. You also have to use a stir rod. But the main one is to collect the soil sample, then mix it with distilled water to form a cereal, and then finally use a pH paper or a universal indicator to determine the soil pH. So that will mark the end of this revision. And if you find this lesson interesting, don't forget to like and also leave your comment. If you have any question, we will be here to respond. If you are a new member, don't forget to press the subscribe button, and if you are a regular member, welcome back.